So today I wanted to kind of talk about a talent that I think that I've talked positively about in the past, but has completely degraded and de-appreciated himself. We're going to be talking about Damian Priest. So I made a video a long time ago called Damian Priest is better than Johnny Gargano because at the time when Priest was in NXT, a lot of people said that Gargano clears, Gargano was better. I made the argument that he wasn't, and that was a while ago. That was even before he was on the main roster. Excuse me. So what we're going to do now is we're going to talk about what I've seen from Priest over the last couple years on the main roster. And I'm going to be real honest in this video. No fucking thoughts hold back. Damian Priest is a failure. He failed on the main roster. They gave him the U.S. Championship. Failed. Worked a program with Bad Bunny. Failed. Joined the Judgment Day. Failed. Became World Heavyweight Champion. Failure. Notice with Damian Priest, it's failure after failure after failure. It's like Triple H won't understand or get it through his thick skull that Damian Priest is somebody who chooses not to get better or learn. This is a guy who's gotten praised by Undertaker, of all people, the most tenured guy in the industry that is held to such high regard, and he can't even take Undertaker's advice. He can't even fucking try to improve himself. Damian Priest has been in the industry for 20 years and has learned absolutely fucking nothing. It's pathetic you have people in NXT like Braun Breaker, who's now on the main roster, that completely overshadow him, completely make his experience and tenure in the industry fucking irrelevant. This is a guy who is the son of Rick Steiner, one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time with his brother, Scott. And all he has done is learn and gotten better. But instead, you have guys like Damian Priest, who have been on the indies their entire career. They got brought up to the main event, the mainstream, and have failed. Damian Priest is the perfect example of experience doesn't mean shit if you don't have the talent or the will to get better. And the reason I'm going more passionate on this video is because I praised the guy before. I gave him my blessing, like my praise at one point, and he's done absolutely nothing with it. And I can hear the marks. You're not in the industry. Why should he listen to you? Because I know what makes a good wrestler. And Damian Priest had some of those qualities in NXT. But he comes up to the main roster and it's failure after failure after failure. And don't give me this Judgment Day shit. Because when he was in Judgment Day, tag team champion, unified tag team champion, and he held the Money in the Bank at the same fucking time. You want to talk about overpushed? This guy unified the titles and then had the Money in the Bank at the same time. In what world does Damian Priest deserve the push that he's gotten? He's not a good promo. He failed as World Heavyweight Champion. He held the Money in the Bank for a year, doing nothing with it. And then he had to ruin Drew McIntyre's moment at WrestleMania, a guy who actually is marketable, a guy you could build the company around. You can't build the company around Damian Priest because they tried. Triple H really tried to give Damian the World Heavyweight Championship for a couple months, and he failed. He wasn't selling merch. Ratings weren't better for Raw. His storylines were dog shit. He continued to be lackluster to mid on the mic. This is a guy you're supposed to elevate to the main event, and he has not improved at all. And then they have him lose to another irrelevant fuck like Gunther. And now Damian Priest is being thrusted back into that role at Survivor Series. Who asked for this? Who is clamoring for Damian Priest to be World Heavyweight Champion again? He failed. And I don't want to hear it that he's a good wrestler. He's okay in the ring. That doesn't mean shit to me. Wrestling is fake. Moves don't matter to me. What matters is how do you entertain me outside of the ring? Can you cut a promo? Do you have that charisma? Do you have the will to get better? And Damian Priest just doesn't have that. And another thing, this guy's how old is this guy? Fucking 43? I'm sorry, I quickly looked it up. He's 42 years old. He's older than LA Knight. For everyone that I've heard on the internet say that LA Knight is too old, your indie darling jack off Ring of Honor motherfucker Damian Priest is 42. And you're going to want to push this guy in the main event. How are you 42 and you haven't learned anything? Anything. You learned nothing in NXT. You learned nothing under the tutelage of Edge in the Judgment Day. You've learned nothing from Rhea Ripley or even Finn Balor. You've learned jack shit. It's bad when Dominic Mysterio overshadows you. I'd rather push Dominic in that main event role than Damian Priest. Because what is Damian Priest's character? He's just some tough Puerto Rican guy who goes out there and beats up people, but now he's a babyface? For the last 3 years in the Judgment Day, he was a fucking heel. And then it's just randomly thrown together, mushed bullshit. I'm sorry, but you can't be a convincing babyface if you cannot cut a fucking promo. If you can't fucking manufacture a perfect audience reaction without the piped in chants. He is not a true babyface because he has no qualities of a true babyface. He has failed. And yet they're still going to do it. Honestly, does anybody expect him to beat Gunther? He's not going to beat Gunther. He's just another fucking opponent to make Gunther look good. This guy, personally, if I'm running the company, he's getting cut. Because how many chances do you keep giving people that squander their opportunities day in and day out? Like I said before, he's been given the fucking world. He was NXT, wasn't he a North American champion in NXT? What came of that? Oh, the banger matches at TakeOver. I don't watch TakeOver, you fuck. TakeOver is irrelevant. You know how many injuries happen at TakeOver, you mark? And then he comes up to the main roster, winning the U.S. title. He did jack shit with the U.S. title. And then it tells you, all you need to know is that he jobbed out to Bad Bunny. He wasn't a big enough star to get a victory over a celebrity wrestler. Comes up to does the Judgment Day shit. Nobody cares about him. He was outshadowed in the Judgment Day, and then when Dominic came in, nobody gave a fuck about him. Everyone only cared about Finn Balor, Rhea, and fucking Dominic. Nobody cared about Damian. And then when JD joined the group, he was ahead of JD, but that's because JD's a jobber. Nobody cares about that guy. Nobody cared about Damian Priest. He's just another Triple H darling that was thrown into the position because Triple H wanted him there. It wasn't because Damian made the company a shit ton of money or because Damian is a young talent who has untapped potential. He's 42. He's not a Diamond Dallas Page. He's not an Undertaker. He's not a fucking Dusty Rhodes or a Ric Flair, like an older guy who can get over with his charisma and promo ability or just presence in the ring. He can't do that. We've seen it before, and nothing came of it. The fact that you had guys like Undertaker praising him, Razor Ramon, rest in peace, was praising him. And yet he's done jack shit with it. He's not supposed to be a babyface. His character is a pure heel. He does not have the charisma or promo ability to be a babyface. So just turn him heel. Okay, here's my idea for Damian Priest. You take him off of TV for a little bit with either an injury or just take him off TV. You have him come back as a fucking sympathizer of a cult. Literally just have him be a cult leader. But here's the problem with the cult leader gimmick. You need to learn how to talk. Just a little bit. You don't have to talk. So what you could do is have Damian Priest come back as a cult leader or recruiter or whatever. And he starts to recruit people backstage to his cult. And from there, you can have cryptic ass fucking like vignettes on Monday Night Raw, have him show up on Raw, make his debut with a bunch of like, I don't know, NXT people that you wanted to push or whatever. And that's just a start. That's better than what he has now. What is his character? Just Puerto Rican guy who beats up people. Wow. Compelling ass fucking character there, Damian Priest and Triple H. Wow. Why the fuck should I give a shit about this guy? You could have him come back as like a cult leader, or he could be like, I'm just trying to find out what the fuck I could do with this guy. Because even if you repackage him, how much years does he have left in the industry? 5? So in 5 years, you're going to rebuild this guy, and then he fails again. What's the point of having him on the roster? At this point, just fucking cut him. Cut him loose. Send him to NXT. He's not ready. He's not ready to be in the main event. He's failed over and over and over again. How can you justify this guy being on the roster? Again, I don't want people to lose their jobs, but is there any benefit for him to be a coach? No. Can he be a promo coach? Fuck no. Can he teach people how to wrestle? I'm sure he could, but everybody could, dude. What the fuck can Damian Priest do if I don't want to put him on TV? He can't be a manager. He can't be a GM. He's too tall. He's not convincing enough to be... His archetype should have been like Hitman for Hire. Or a serial killer. Or something. The fact that he's being pushed as a babyface, that's not what he should be. You could have played off Archer of Infamy as like a cult thing. Literally, or you could say, I'm your savior. I'm your savior. The Archer of Infamy. Or something like that. My arrows will cleanse the soul. It's goofy, but at least it would have been a gimmick. You could have played off of it. And after every match, he like shoots people with arrows. Or something. Anything is better than what the fuck we have now. So, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on this guy. He's a failure. Without a gimmick rework, he needs to be cut. This is PRW. Peace out.